we'll get on with it.
This is cool, 4-way. It's like a fatal 4-way.
Absolutely, fatal 4-way here on Wrestle Dope. Myself, Stephen, and we've got Maddie and Phil live on Skype. We're going to talk about SummerSlam 2011 and indeed predictions about what's going to happen in some of those matches that are upcoming. And indeed, as we said earlier, it's not too long. I mean, last week we were shocked at how short a time it was that they had to build. Of course, we mentioned how basically this past Monday night's Raw was all about talking your way to that big show and establishing so many different storylines that, well, had to be established. So let's begin, I suppose, with, well, let's talk about heel Beth Phoenix versus Kelly Kelly. We start with that Divas Championship, and I think that's official there for SummerSlam. And just to confirm that, as I look at that wiki, and we can keep sure. So this one kind of started off with some angles this week where Beth Phoenix finally turned. Well, she hasn't been that present in recent times, but they put her back on and they've decided time to go heel. And I think a very good move. I think this sets up a feud that is worthwhile, and plus with Beth Phoenix you're getting quality wrestling as well, and even a strong woman at that.
I thought it kind of came out of nowhere, the kind of, I suppose I wouldn't say push, but the big change in direction for Beth, and I suppose it is a push as well. I would probably wonder if Punk and his demands maybe in Vince's ear got that one over, because the Bellas were dropped pretty quick in this whole scenario, if you ask me. I think there was a lot more juice in that tank for both of them. But for Beth, heel Phoenix, always a good thing, and Natalia's joined in with her too some bit, so I'm sure I think they're kind of putting the focus back. I won't bang on about this too much now because everybody needs to have their speak on it, but I think you can see with everything that change in direction we were talking about last week with the whole thing, and that you know, the focus on the much talked about Divas, as we spoke about last week as well, is going to be, I suppose, a bit more serious now with the likes of Natalya and Beth stepping it up. And now that Karma's out of the picture, where I'm sure she was definitely going to play a big part in making the Divas division that bit more believable and put more focus on wrestling as opposed to looks. Now with Karma gone, I'm sure it's in the hands of Beth and Natalya to take it up a level, and I'm sure Beth will probably go over if Punk has anything to do with it in this one.
Certainly it's going to be an interesting way of seeing if they're ready now to go back, as we've often asked for competitive matches and more than just maybe the fluff, if you like. As I say, Phil joining us on the line. Going to you first, Phil. I suppose a quick prediction on this, or any thoughts?
Well, typically with the Divas matches, I got to be honest, when they come on the tube, I go into screensaver mode. But I did find the interaction at the end of that match a little bit entertaining, at least for no other reason than it made sense to me. You have Kelly come running in from the desk, celebrating that she's going to have to face this monster, friend or no friend, you know, breaking the kayfabe. Take a look at Beth Phoenix. She should wipe the floor with her. The only thing is, in that match, what I would do is I would probably have Beth dominate it, actually win, but then have the reversal on the disqualification to keep the angle going, because we all know Kelly's just going to be fodder for her, but you need to draw that out a little bit longer. So
absolutely. Matty, on that one, any interest on the Divas Championship match?
Well, I mean, it's just a typical women's match on a WWE pay-per-view, really. You know, I probably think it's going to be a bit better than, you know, the usual women's matches on the pay-per-views, because of Beth Phoenix, who's, you know, a pretty credible women's wrestler. But I don't think there's much reason to be excited about it, you know.
It is but standard stuff.
It could be a lot worse. I mean, it could be, you know, Kelly versus someone like Alicia Fox or Eve Torres, or
absolutely. I
like Alicia Fox, I have to say.
Well, we saw that Battle Royale, and it kind of did separate the weak from the strong in some ways, I thought. But yeah, there was interesting characters there, so there's certainly potential for, you know, I think something that's a bit more interesting than what we seem to always get, which, as you say, is kind of that bog standard match. And maybe we have seen Beth Phoenix a lot but I suppose not recently, at least for me anyway. She is kind of somewhat fresh, I would say. So that's kind of that. We can maybe give our predictions on the matches at the end, but moving straight on to something with a bit more meat, I think Christian v Randy Orton, this no holds barred thing, it's made it more interesting for me. Of course, I was actually surprised when they started talking about how, you know, Christian is, did they say the first ever person to win the belt under disqualification?
Yeah, I was shocked at that too. I wouldn't keep track or know really of those exact statistics, but yeah, that was a shocking one. I didn't know that at all.
That was a surprise, and you kind of say to yourself, wow, you know, they put him over, but not really, because it's like the Punk thing with 2 belts. I was going to ask both of you guys that actually, and maybe start with yourself, Phil. 2 belts, CM Punk and John Cena, and a situation like that with Christian, where you've got the belt kind of changing hands on a DQ, first time ever, etc. Are these guys both legit champions in your eyes right now?
No, well, what I was kind of hoping, and I've been hoping for a long time, that they eventually amalgamate the belts as they did at first with the brand extension. I think it harkens back to me more. It's if it weren't for the fact that you just came out of Money in the Bank and they've had quite a few ladder matches, I figured that they were going to try and replicate Michaels versus Razor Ramon from SummerSlam years ago, when essentially, in a lot of ways, it's a very similar angle, except that was over the Intercontinental belt. You know, you can make an argument on both sides of it that both have legitimate claim to it. So that doesn't offend me. I would have gone a slightly different direction with the angle in general, and I was kind of hoping that Triple H was going to come out and say that no, we're not going to resume the title tournament, but we're also not going to name a new champion. I'm going to give CM Punk an opportunity to come out and to come back with the belt, because I've had a belt just handed to me before, and that's not how I want to continue this legacy, this lineage of the title. I want the person who is the champ to give them that opportunity, and then you could have gone in different directions from there, whether or not it's Cena's chasing them and they're doing matches in ROH, or, you know, I think it could have gone a lot of different ways. That being said, I'm not completely offended with what they have done with it. They've tap danced along the line of almost becoming boring and stagnant again, but the promos have pulled it back out. So it is completely logical at the same time that you would have a tournament the next night and try and you know, sweep this guy under the rug a little bit. You do need to continue with business, but if he is back, then okay, and you re-sign him. It's hard to say.
It's a tough call. I think everyone's in that boat. They're kind of maybe wondering, you know, is he the real champion or not? I suppose in this day and age, this kind of thing happens more and more, where a guy gets it on a kind of a tenuous kind of a link like a DQ, and really he is in a sense, because he's probably down there written in the lineage of belts. But to talk to yourself, Matty, about that, your take on that, you know, with those belts and what's happened recently, are the belts credible, and are the champions currently now credible?
Well, I mean, I think you know, the fact that CM Punk did actually win the championship, obviously legitimately. I mean, the argument could be made that Cena did also do the same the next night on Raw, but the fact that is you know, that was introduced as a stopgap basically, while, you know, Punk was out. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's very, you know, Cena being champion, I can't take that too seriously, to be honest with you. It just feels like, you know, Cena's been champion many times before, and it just feels, I don't know, it just doesn't feel legit to me, Cena as champ. Punk is champion totally, but at the moment not Cena. I think the fact that they're calling it an undisputed championship match is a bit of a joke, really, to be honest with you.
We are talking Punk Cena as opposed to Orton Christian,
well, it's funny because it all leads back
it's all the same.
to Punk Cena, and to be honest with you, I kind of skated over the old Orton.
Well, we could cross the two of them. We could cross the two of them. I suppose as far as Punk Cena, yeah, they're both very fair points. I think both of you made. I I would say I would like to see Cena take it for the simple fact that I don't think Punk needs it, and him not having it would give them plenty of weeks TV in the run to get it back and make him even more pissed off at everybody. Without using the word conspiracy that R-Truth has been banging on about, but in a similar sense where without saying the word conspiracy, that everyone is out to get Punk or whatever. But they could get a hell of a lot more TV out of that and bring it all the way to Survivor Series or the Rumble if need be, for Punk to get the title back and be the champion. He could bang on about being screwed out of it or whatever. As far as Christian Orton goes, I think maybe Orton to take it. As Christian, I just don't think, I know he's a good worker and he's better as a heel, but there's nothing really exciting about him having it, I don't think. I think I said that last week, and for Orton, I think they need somebody big like that to, for every side of it, for people to tune into SmackDown for pay-per-view matches with Orton involved. I think it makes more sense for him to have a belt, even though he can't always have it, but I do like that he's about to go a bit crazy again, and he's what's the thing they're driving? His anger management is getting the better of him. So I like that. I like when Orton's getting a bit wacky and tends to lose his cool a bit.
Well, the more I think about it with Punk, he literally is the fall guy. He's the guy for the fall, for Cena, to take him where he needs to go, I think. And, at least he's got a good spot, and I want to see him there. It was the end bit of Raw, where he did hold the belt up, and you had Cena holding the belt up. Little touches like that make that dual belt thing worthwhile, and it kind of makes you actually enjoy the programming when you see kind of funny stuff like that. But just turning it to the chat room as well, not to leave you guys out. Sonic Akuma, there's too much talent in the company to have one world title, and the title unification. Sonic saying he doesn't think it's going to happen. I think you mentioned that, Phil. I think that title unification thing is a great idea, because when they started talking about, throwing together the US and the IC and this and that, just tidying it up a little bit, I mean, it would actually legitimize all of those titles in one fell swoop, I think, if they did that. Captain,
I would like to see it happen. I think the other thing, though, that there has to be a little bit more of a commitment to longer matches if you're going to do that, because obviously it is going to cut down on the amount of material you have for TV. And I thought it was interesting earlier, and I thought, Steve, you're pretty spot on when you talk about how some people are never going to be happy. The people that sit there with a stopwatch and count 17 minutes of wrestling action on a TV show, well, it might sound funny because I've always claimed to be a little bit of a purist. I think that you have to strike the right chord, and it's not necessarily the amount of wrestling action as much as are the matches that are on there getting the time to play out as they should. So that'll sound a little bit contradictory, but I have no issue with an entertainment segment taking up a large amount of time if that pushes then the better matches to pay-per-view. And that's also because I look at it from a business standpoint is, why would I want to buy a pay-per-view if it is just the same stuff that I get all the time on Raw or on SmackDown? And, there's a reason why, well, there's many reasons why I wouldn't buy a TNA pay-per-view, but that's probably at the top of the list.
Yeah. Because
it just feels like another episode of their TV. So
it's been pretty rough over there, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes a tough subject, but I know, Matty, you're a fan of TNA. I suppose, what could you say to us as somebody, we all watch it, I presume at one point, I know we used to watch it, but what do you like about it currently? I know that's a tough question.
Sorry, did you say I'm a fan of TNA?
Are you a fan of TNA? No.
No, I absolutely, to be honest, I absolutely despised everything about TNA.
Fair enough. I thought when I heard you asking about the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, I was thinking.
We're all on the same page then. That's a good thing.
That's all right. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Did you ask?
I hate to sound like a TNA basher on the microphone, but
you're fine.
I just do not like the company. I'll watch the pay-per-view tonight. I've got very, very low hopes for the pay-per-view. I've not much good things to say about it.
No, I put you in a tough spot there, assuming that you were a TNA fan. But I think we all, I think what we have here is 4 people, you know, who are more or less the average wrestling fan, and we all feel the same about it. And I mean, that can't be, you know, we're all from different walks of life, etc. So you kind of think, well, if you're all thinking it, then everyone else I've seen is thinking it. People who I know who watched it week on week have totally given up on it, and they won't go anywhere near it. But onwards and upwards, I think those 3 matches, so quickly to fire out predictions, I would expect, I would go for Beth Phoenix going over in the women's match. I would think that this no holds barred thing, I'm going to say Orton for SummerSlam, and Cena v Punk. That's the hardest prediction. I think we'll have to get that one by one from everyone, but Cena v Punk, my call on that right here now, I'm going to go with the fresh push for a Punk on a SummerSlam. That's maybe wrong, you know?
No, you know the way it always depends on the outcome of the other one, you know?
Oh, yeah.
With, I suppose, if Orton goes over, maybe Punk will probably go over. They're always hard to call. I would like to see Orton go over. I would like to see Cena go over for the simple fact of just what I said there 5 minutes ago. But I suppose to pinpoint it down, I'd probably go with what you just said. Yeah, Orton to take the World Heavyweight back, and Punk to be the undisputed WWE champion. Turn it to Phil. What do you reckon, Phil?
I think Orton Christian could go either way, and I wouldn't be offended. The only question I have is who's in charge of continuity of naming the stipulations and matches? What makes this a no-holds-barred match versus a hardcore match versus an anything-goes match? It seems like they tap dance around that from month to month.
Yeah, it's very true, because what separates either? I mean, what's an extreme match? It has weapons, but in this case, no holds barred, no DQ. It's more or less the same thing, really, isn't it? Kind of.
I suppose it's probably...
And so in regard to Cena versus Punk, part of me just... I agree with what you said earlier, that I think that the whole idea and the character for Punk of where he's going probably plays better without the belt, but... Well, I guess technically one way or another, whoever wins it, you're getting another title change, but of which we've had a bunch recently. I really, like I said, they've kind of, they've tap danced around it, and the only thing, because at points it looks like they're going to give you exactly what you want, then they pull back, but then they came back. Like even I was really worried about where they were going to go with the explanation of why Punk came back and did what he did, and that's why I'm really into the character right now, what he's saying, and I think Darren, you said it earlier in terms of, are they paying attention to us, are they miking us, because it seems like a lot of the things that Punk has come on and said is some of the stuff that I've yammered on in the past in terms of what they're doing with characters and whether it's stale. So for him to come out and he gave the speech, and it made sense. They're finally letting guys give promo that makes sense. Plus the theme, Cult of Personality, kicks ass. I've loved that song since 1989. So
I'm so glad you just said that there about them listening to us, because the next match is so much says it all here. Sheamus v Mark Henry. Now we spent last few weeks a lot of time building up and talking about Mark Henry. I think we're probably viewed as Sheamus marks whether we are or not, but that certainly does lead on in a sense with this singles match. By the way, also not to skip over what I've seen here written on Wiki anyway, which is the Punk v John Cena, and it says singles match for the undisputed WWE Championship. So that was kind of Jericho's thing. And I don't know how kind of close. I mean, it's not the WHC and the other thing, but it's certainly...
they shouldn't have referred to it as the undisputed. I mean, I think with Jericho, it was kind of a once-off situation, really. When
and he's still, sorry to interrupt, but he's still in the company opening as well.
Really?
Yeah, he's still there.
There you go.
So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Could he be back this year? Sheamus v Mark Henry. Sadly, I know there's other matches that seem like they're going to happen. And certainly I've kind of speculated here, which, I mean, I was looking at maybe Ziggler v Riley as well, but I suppose that's another subject. Sheamus v Mark Henry seems to be on there for certain. Singles match, really isn't much to say, is there? But I would say...
I like it. I like this. I like this whole thing.
I think it's because I burned out on Mark Henry. I've said too much.
Right. No, I do. I like it.
The only problem I have with that matchup is I didn't think that they could actually find an opponent that could make Sheamus look even whiter than he actually is.
Yeah, well, it certainly does add up, you know.
That makes sense.
But Sheamus is a babyface. Matty, I mean, do you think it's a good thing because he's coming out to cheers now?
Like I said last week, most definitely, I think this is a great move for Sheamus. You know, I'm looking forward to the match. If you asked me a year ago or so, would I be looking forward to a Mark Henry match, then I tell you I'd be dreading it. But I've got to say I'm quite looking forward to this match. It should be a pretty solid match, I think. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
You know what?
Is it okay to? Oh, sorry. Is it okay just to quickly give my predictions on the other matches?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Kelly and Beth Phoenix. I actually think. I actually think Kelly might win this. Maybe some kinds of roll up. Maybe a counter from the Beth Phoenix slam. You know, a finishing move. So I could see Kelly maybe retaining in that match. As for Christian and Randy Orton, I actually think a lot of people are in a way underrating this match. I think this honestly could be one of the best WWE matches this year. I think it's going to be a superb match. As to who's going to win, I'd probably have to say Orton. I just can't see them giving Christian you know, too long a title reign, basically. So I think Randy Orton's probably going to win that one. And as for Cena versus Punk, I think that's, again, going to be an outstanding match. It's not going to live up to Money in the Bank, I don't think. It's going to be very hard to. As for the winner in that one, I find it hard to believe that the CM Punk is going to win twice in a row on a pay-per-view against Cena. I can see Cena winning that match.
Absolutely.
Good predictions, yeah. Very good. Sorry, we've got to come back to you with
indeed
your calls.
To say the same to Phil, if you want to call any of those other ones that maybe we missed out on.
Again, I hope I hope Punk goes over. And it would not surprise me, though, to see Laurinaitis get involved in that if you're going to bring him on TV, which I don't completely understand. But if you're going to go with it, then go with it. I think that with there does feel like there has been a slight change in direction with the product. Part of that is the Punk angle, but everything else, it goes back to, it's been a while since we've talked about this. I mean, they're starting to let guys develop characters. Even the R-Truth character, I know that some people might look at that and say, yeah, they gave him the pay-per-view match and then pulled him back on it. But I think it's understandable why they did that, because they did capitalize while the iron was hot on this angle with Punk. But the byproduct of that is now you have another interesting character, another commodity that maybe you can put him back into that scene, maybe not. But he's above the U.S. title, which is good, but maybe below. But there's no problem with that. The generation that I grew up watching wrestling, there were all those guys. Look at Jake Roberts. The guy did not need titles to get over. I think that's what's been missing a lot from WWE over the past little while. Is you've not had those talents that are entertaining enough on their own that they can get by without being in a title picture. And so you've got that. Then you've also they've built layers to it, that whatever happens with Punk and Cena, then Alberto Del Rio actually, even as a heel, has a right to come out and say, you know what? Not only should I be the number one contender, I also have the Money in the Bank, don't forget, he before the pay-per-view going in, before Money in the Bank, he was actually the #1 contender. So he's got at least 2 claims to it. So there's another level. Rey Mysterio can come back and say that he's got claim to a shot in there. So they're building up some of that. I don't want to see the belt go right back onto Cena. But here's a thought. Actually, this just jumped into my brain. The Rock, where's he been? Is SummerSlam not a great opportunity maybe for him to show up? It's potential. So
definitely, so many names you mentioned, guys like Del Rio there, and with these matches quickly forming, you're thinking, where are these guys' spots? And there's still so much to do this week. They've got to talk again for another bit. I wonder what both you guys thought of that 25-minute promo with Punk and Triple H. I mean, like I was saying earlier, it somehow kept my interest. On that one, either you guys, did they keep yours?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty gripping TV for the 25 minutes it lasted. In this day and age of wrestling, I think it's pretty hard to keep the audience interested for such a long period of time, and I think they did a pretty good job of it. Triple H coming out there as the authority figure, CM Punk as the rebellious character against him. It kept me hooked for the whole 25 minutes. I'm usually against these really long opening segments to Raw, but this one I particularly enjoyed.
Yeah, it certainly was. Great stuff. I suppose with that, I was speculating about Ziggler and Alex Riley. That looks like it's going ahead.
Yeah.
And actually, to see those two in the ring cutting promos, and you had kind of Ziggler saying, I don't know who you are. Who are you? He was even telling him, you don't belong in here with me. And pushing that perfection thing with that new team tune as well. It's great, and it's even, I'm even less bothered now by Vicky Guerrero.
But as we said, and sorry, I won't cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, that's all I had to say really on the old speculation. Really,
I was just going to say, and just as Maddie said, this time last year, if you'd asked him about a Mark Henry match, he probably would have just looked the other direction or whatever. But as Phil said, and we did say as well, that now you have a reason to care. I don't know if it was Heyman or somebody had those 3 rules with why do I watch and why should I care, and maybe some other rule I can't remember, but it does make sense. Everybody has something decent. Truth has his thing. Even Ziggler and now Zack Ryder and Sheamus and Mark Henry, more so than any of them really at this stage. Mark Henry, they've pushed it hard, even opening SmackDown with just to remind you this is what he's been up to lately. So when he does come out, you don't just throw your eyes up to heaven. You go, oh yeah, this is kind of fun. And I think Sheamus is doing a good job as well as a babyface, even though he's a week in. His promo backstage was very, very funny and very solid. So he seems comfortable in that role. I think he can carry it off nicely. Yeah,
I think Sheamus babyface is a topic all in itself, and I think he's going to get massively over, because I've lost count actually I know it's Ireland, but the amount of people who have no interest in wrestling whatsoever. Now, obviously, they're going to switch on Sky Sports because they subscribe and they watch other sports, but they see this guy with the red hair and the Irish gimmick, and, it hasn't been done really. You've had Finlay, but I suppose in a sense, he wasn't as noticeable, if you like, with the kind of characteristics of Sheamus, who's standing out just by standing in the ring. But people like the guy, and people think it's funny, and he's a character that can, I think, maybe entertain somewhat older fans and the younger fans as well. Interesting to see him head towards the babyface role and what that's going to bring in the next few weeks. We don't want to keep you all night, guys, but I suppose, is there anything else maybe that you wanted to share? Maybe something burning a hole in your mind? I know each week, if we don't get to shoot on this stuff, it's kind of therapeutic, but just to say it to you, Phil, anything else that was on your mind?
No, just in general, I like the way that the product is going. I honestly, I believe that Vince has stepped away from the wrestling portion of the business. I believe that Triple H is in charge, and it's ironic. And I'm hoping And it's proof that, like Rocky said at the end of Rocky 4, you know, if he can change and I can change, everybody can change. Because with Triple H, maybe he can see things objectively when he's not involved in, even though he's on TV a lot, but when he's not the focal point. That I hope that he keeps that proper balance of getting involved a little bit but not overshadowing. He's done pretty good with it so far, but I do honestly believe, or maybe Vince McMahon is just that good an actor, that when they had that interaction in the ring, you felt like it was a real passing of the torch, and the rumors are that Triple H is now in charge, and it might make sense. Vince is probably moving on to other business ventures, the other aspects of what they do. If that's the case, and if this is what's coming, I'm excited to see that we're getting angles, we're getting promos where that makes sense. They're not insulting the intelligence as much as they were before.
Absolutely,
you know?
yeah. It's
so
a good positive note.
That's pretty much it.
That's a good point.
Phil, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we look forward to chatting to you again soon.
Always a pleasure.
Take it easy. Thanks a lot.
Indeed, good night to Phil, and we have this multi-conference going. Matt is still with us. Matt, as well, just to give you that chance, is there anything maybe you wanted to bring up, or anything else really on your mind about the wrestling product?
Well, just about SummerSlam, really. Obviously, we're a week away. Only four matches announced on the card. I really think this week they should have done a better job of. I mean, they've obviously laid the groundwork for matches that are going to happen. Possibly Miz versus Rey Mysterio, John Morrison versus R-Truth. But I think maybe last week they should have actually announced the matches, as opposed to probably Monday night they're going to announce these two matches. And I just think they should have done a better job with laying the cards out a little bit earlier for the audience,
It's true.
And I also I find it hard to believe that this SummerSlam pay-per-view is going to be, half as good as Money in the Bank was. To be honest with you, I think coming off the Money in the Bank pay-per-view and how awesome that was, I think this could be possibly a lackluster show. It might be good, but I just can't see it living up to the previous pay-per-view. So I guess we'll find out in a week.
Absolutely, it's a tough show to follow, and we'll be here, I suppose. We haven't been here live for a pay-per-view for a while, but whether it's live stream or Justin.tv, we'll try and sit. I mean, that was our spot. We're not going to let Justin and
destroy us.
Yeah, and Stamford are a big part of it as well. But Matt, we hope to hear from you next week. Hopefully, you'll join us here for the pay-per-view.
Thanks for coming in.
I'll be here, guys, most definitely.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Matt, and talk to you again. Indeed, good call there. Good call.
Yeah.
Phil and Matt, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take more calls while we're good to go, I think.
Yeah. I think Sonic's floating around there. He might want to call in.
Absolutely. Continuing on, what will be a SummerSlam predictions video here on YouTube, if you're watching on youtube.com/TheWrestleDope. And good match. The team of Matt and Phil.
Yeah, it's great. We should do them as a team of in future.
Absolutely,
it's a good combination.
Good team. And Matt, thank you once again, and indeed Phil as well, for being on there. So let's see if I think Sonic said he was looking to come on. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, just see if you can.
I should be able to sort that out. I mean, like.
Oh right.
We'll try and. I'm just looking at a weird Skype thing here that's all messed up a bit. So right, I think I have to do this, but it might ruin things. But we'll try it anyway. So let's see if we can talk to Sonic, and we're just going to ask Sonic his thoughts because I know it's been weeks.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time we talked to Sonic. But should be cool.
Absolutely. So Skype, the user WrestleDope.
Did you put on some sun cream out here? Did you?
I didn't actually, and judging by that sun, I really should have. But it's a nice. I mean, this kind of pool, the pool background and this beach background. I don't know. I like them.
I like it. Yeah.
Sonic, we are trying to give you a buzz there. Have we got you? I think, Sonic, are you there?
I'm here, baby.
Excellent, you're here.
Welcome back. It's been a while.
It's been a while. How have you been? Disconnection. Internet connection problem, unfortunately. I know we're really whacking it up at this point because we're also sending it to Justin. So that might be somewhat of an issue. But look, we'll try and give him... oh no, we are actually still connected, I think. Sonic, are you still with us?
Seems like the line's broken down somewhere, yeah.
I think he's still there.
Here we go.
Yes.
Indeed, we have you now. I think we've got a stable connection. Well, we're just going to say, how are you? It's been a while.
I was going to ask you the same thing.
Well, not too bad, actually. What about yourself?
Yeah, no, I'm doing pretty well, actually, yeah.
Now, of course, Sonic, wasn't it just a few weeks ago, actually, that Raw came to your home state? Am I right?
They came to Hampton, but I missed the show.
Well, this is it. It
Saw it on
happens.
TV.
Yeah, it happens to us as well. They come as close as cities near us, but we never... Well, sometimes we make it up, but there you go. I know what it's like, though, but Sonic, just to talk to you, so much has happened. I mean, CM Punk, probably since the last time we spoke to you, has been on a huge roller coaster. What are your thoughts on CM Punk now as a WWE champion?
Where do I start? It's from trying to from Vince trying to pull off a second Montreal screw job to CM Punk posting a video crashing the WWE press conference at Comic-Con.
He's a tyrant, that Punk. Do you think he's got a good chance at SummerSlam to take what a lot of people are saying really is his WWE Championship back?
He has an excellent chance. The crowd is really behind him. And he has the talent.
He does have the talent. And I noted that I kind of thought that it was only recently that maybe myself, speaking for myself, that I started maybe putting over Punk's match quality, but actually it goes back a while. We were talking about Punk since sometime last year. I know I started mentioning him, but where do you stand, Sonic, on the two WWE champions issue? Who would you consider the real champion there, CM Punk or John Cena?
If Cena was the real champion, and it should. If Cena was the real champion, would either never lose to the title or never lost the tournament.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah. That's a very good point.
Yeah, it is a good point. I was getting distracted, sorry, by the funny conversation.
CM Punk, he never lost the title to begin with.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, that's why I think I asked because I had the same feelings that he should really be the champ and Cena shouldn't have anything to do with this whole scenario. But it was Triple H, the COO, who is and has called the shots on this one, so we can't argue with him as he is the boss man these days. But not to worry, as I'm sure they'll sort out their differences and we'll have a dead cert undisputed champion after SummerSlam next Sunday. You're going to be around next Sunday to have a biggest party of the summer with the Wrestle Dope?
Without a doubt.
We're looking forward to that, and of course, you know, it's been a strange few weeks. We've actually, I think, got a better product now. Since the last time we talked to you, Sonic, I think things have really improved. You know, they've brought guys on, they've moved younger guys into those bigger spots, and I really believe CM Punk, he's a true main event guy.
Why be like, continue on CM Punk, some say it's good, he's talented, others say, some people see it as the second summer of Punk.
I was thinking last week that when he had that angle with New Nexus, that was perhaps a mistake. Do you think they could have started him with Cena at the beginning of the year rather than doing all this New Nexus stuff?
Not really.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one to discuss for many reasons. I think Nexus certainly held him back. Without,
I would have thought
Nexus
so.
held him back. But that aside, I suppose timing-wise, with his contract coming to an end, just maybe things are meant to be sometimes, and definitely has worked to his advantage, if anything, I'll tell you that much. So he's in a good position, Punk.
Well, it's good news, Sonic, because of course we did lose that Justin channel a few weeks back, and I know a lot of people kind of wonder where the hell we were. I've just seen that FireSoul86 has joined us in the room.
Sweet.
Straight over from Justin, so we have that double broadcast.
That's
with
great.
the black screen.
That's great.
So guys know
Slowly but surely they're getting here, yeah.
They're coming back. But Sonic, did you think we were gone altogether?
I thought you guys would come back, but when?
Well, certainly we've
was asking.
Yeah, we've missed having a chat with you. Of course, SummerSlam is the big topic. We've talked in and around the various subjects, but we've seen 4 matches announced officially. Talk of stuff like Ziggler v Alex Riley. Is SummerSlam shaping up good for you in terms of a pay-per-view to watch? Do you think there's good matches planned for this?
It should be, and it's almost similar to Hardcore Justice.
That's right.
You looking forward to Hardcore Justice tonight? You're a TNA fan, aren't you?
Absolutely.
We must talk a little bit more, some bit about that later on, actually.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. A bit of TNA talk, and we can always look at up and down at the card and see what matches are there. I know I see a lot of Abyss v Brian Kendrick.
I had to laugh at the PWI 500 thing that came out, with the top 500 and all that. I was reading the top 250 lists, just flicked through it casually, and there was a discussion at the end of it, and some guy was like, I cannot believe that Abyss is above Drew McIntyre on this list. Just made me laugh.
Exactly. Drew McIntyre, I was thinking about him during the week. My God. I mean, is it over?
Yeah, God knows what's going down.
He was a good worker.
Yeah, he was doing well, wasn't he?
I mean, he
appeared for 5 minutes there recently, didn't he?
He did. Was he buried by Michaels? Was that?
That was the one, super kick, wasn't it? Yeah.
Unbelievable. After all the talk, but of course, let's go through some of those matches. Talking about your own predictions, Sonic, maybe that would be something we would discuss, because we of course did talk to Matt and Phil about what they thought was going to happen in each of those matches. Who do you think is going to win between John Cena and CM Punk, if you were to predict that now?
It's too close to call.
It is, isn't it? I kind of nailed my colours to the mast, if you like, and went for Punk, for that future new guy, taking the company forward. On to the next one, though. Christian Randy Orton, no holes barred.
Orton got the match easy.
RKO, I'm going for with that one.
Right, we're gonna have to write some of these down. I've always been tempted to look at our predictions over the past year. Did we get them right or what? But other matches then, just to get your thoughts on each one of these. Of course, Sheamus v Mark Henry. Now, I'd be interested to know your take on both of those characters' redevelopment. Mark Henry now, my God, he's a legitimate heel finally.
It's like him, 10 years ago, he dropped the sexual chocolate.
Yeah, that's been it for a while. Who do you think is winning in that one? Mark Henry or Sheamus? I was going to just call him Mark there. That would have been wrong altogether. Mark Henry or Sheamus? Who do you think?
I'm leaning towards Sheamus.
Yeah, I think it's a good call.
I think the Celtic Warriors probably got it wrapped up. Although, You know, Mark Henry was
Yeah.
impressive against the Great Khali this week, so never say never.
Somebody in the chat room mentioned Brodus Clay. Now, since Mania, where the hell has Brodus Clay... I mean, was he dispatched at some point? Because I know they got Ricardo beaten up.
I was going to ask you the exact same question.
Yeah. It's like he disappeared, isn't it?
Was he injured? Possibly. I don't think Mark Henry was fighting Great Khali yet.
Injured.
That's it. He could well be injured. But as always, Sonic, to give you a chance, was there anything else playing on your mind? I mean, it's been a while. Was there any other topics maybe you wanted to bring up or discuss here tonight?
About it. I was thinking about Ring of Honor being in syndication.
Oh yeah, exciting times. It's going to be something to watch, definitely. Are you planning on tuning in?
I have to look up the listings first before I jump onto it.
Well, I'll tell you guys definitely over there are very, very lucky, I think, to have it. And I suppose now maybe they might think about reaching out to the rest of the world now and maybe trying to get it signed. I mean, you can get this stuff on channels for free. I know it's not ideal, but isn't it better to have the product out there?
When does it start, Sonic? When does it start over in the States? Is it this week, next week, or sometime?
Thinking within the month of September.
Oh, September, okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Hopefully they've stepped up that production from the old HD net.
It kind of looked low rent while it was on HD net.
Big time. It'll be interesting to see. I think they've certainly got a lot of good workers up there, so it'll be good.
They do. It's actually it's the time for me anyway to jump on it. As you were saying yourself, Sonic, you're gonna have to find out when it's on, etc. But I was thinking the same thing about FCW. I've said it so much, but you know, you just get a huge insight if you keep an eye on those companies. Yeah, go ahead.
I've never seen FCW.
It's well worth checking out.
To be
Actually.
honest.
Yeah, you'd like it, Sonic. I reckon you probably see it on YouTube. It's up there most weeks.
It's like Tuesday or Wednesday.
I'm not sure what day they broadcast it there, but it normally tends to be up there every week. Even if you're a couple of days out, you'll probably see some people put it up in parts on YouTube. I'm sure you'll like it.
Yeah, and I was going to do was the Combat Zone.
Combat
Not
Zone.
familiar with.
Oh, CZW.
Oh yeah, those crazy ass guys. Yeah, I never really took to the violence there. I have to say, a bit too much for me.
No, I know what you're
I
saying.
like the more violent it is the better.
Well, you know, I know what you're saying. Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely one I've checked out. Do you watch that? Is that other programming you watch as well?
It's something I want to get into.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Physically get into? You're gonna step in the ring?
Get into watching it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I tell you now, yeah, an in-ring competitor. I mean, if I was over there, I mean, I wouldn't have the size. I would try to be a manager, you know.
Yeah,
I'd try
I'd
and
say
do
it would be good
something.
fun.
If I was in America,
I thought you were full set on stepping into the ring there, Sonic, for a sec. Run-ins with a steel chair.
yeah.
I was going to be this. If I was in the business, I would be a huge baby face.
Big pops from the crowd.
And my style would be submission based.
Nice.
Fair play. Listen, Sonic, again, thank you. It's been a while. Good to speak to you again. Hopefully we'll keep it going on a weekly basis, and maybe we'll speak to you at some point before SummerSlam if you're around next week.
I will be around.
Take it easy. Thanks for your call, Sonic.
Welcome.
Thanks a lot, and bye to Sonic. That was a good Skype in section. I think it's better to just do it before the end.
Yeah.
Because we get to the end and we're kind of like, oh. You know, because it is tiring. I think it's because we've usually spoken so much. We've probably got A headache from even speaking. But let's keep an eye on the feed, I suppose. Hopefully everything going well in the chat room. That was our Skype in section here on YouTube.